Chapter 27. By some voodoo, I managed to get my flask out of my bra without flashing George Hidalgo. Now I can't get it back in. George smiles a little too much. They don't even put a break in between that two-step and the waltz we're now slowing down for. So I politely say I'm tired and head for the sidelines. Plopping down on my seat next to Betsy Fontenot, I let out a big breath. She insists on always being between me and her husband. She smiles like a cotton mouth. I don't know what she's worried about. Between the fur in her husband's ears and his skinny legs, he looks like a damn mule. John really should be here, but he's no fun on the dance floor. But at least he'd make all these sideways glances stop. Poor bit, Mr. Hidalgo. He looks pitiful across the dance floor. It must be 2 years since his wife died. I bet it's hard coming to these balls without her. We're both pitiful. I don't even know where my kids are right now. I hope they are having fun. I hope God is protecting them.
Bee, why you frowning so much on Lundygrass?
Since Alice Hoffpierre started heading Crudy Bijou, she thinks she's in charge of how much fun we have, the bossy old goat.
I was frowning thinking about my kids.
That didn't come out right. She's even got me watching what I'm saying right now.
Why don't you go get another dance with Mr. Hidalgo instead? He's had his eye on you all night. He has not. What's he doing right now?
Sure enough, there's old Hidalgo looking away when my eyes reach him. He fumbles his Miller Lite all the way to his lips. With his head turned, I can see how he still has all of his hair. John hasn't had hair like that since his early 30s. Okay, Beatrice, that's a sin. You're married, and he probably misses his wife. Now he's looking at me. He's caught me laboring through all this in my drunken head. Wait, is that a wink? It must be, because now he's walking toward me. What am I supposed to do? What do other married women do without their husbands around? Panic tells me to go to the restroom. The toilet seat is pleasantly cold on my ass. Everything needs to go down a degree or two to slow down. Whiskey is like a hot lover. Gets you worked up fast, but leaves you feeling dirty and used after. My breath runs back in my nostrils as I fan myself. Holy shit, I'm drunk. My thoughts come in fits and spurts, interrupted by the slamming of stall doors and conversations of other drunk women. Trying to hold my thoughts in my head, hold my dress above my waist, and hold my purse under my arm proves to be too much of a juggling act in my current state. The purse falls to the tiles, spilling out. I dive for the rolling lipstick and fall head first into the wall of the stall, not wanting to kneel on the dirty, sweating floor to get my balance, but not having a sure footing in these damn heels. I let my head continue to balance me against the stall wall as my left hand chases after my lipstick. My bare ass now wobbling in the wind. Wind is what it is, because all this misery after that jambalaya has farts bursting out of my ass faster than I can catch them. Having caught the lipstick, I use my head to push off the stall wall and plop back down on the toilet. It's only now I can see I knocked open the stall door in the commotion. Standing outside watching me are Betsy Faulknot and Alice Hoffpierre. Betsy's smile is that of a snake with its fill. Alice looks like she just found her next party. Behind them, I can see in the mirror my hair's flattened on the side I used as a counterbalance. My makeup runs with sweat. My dress falls underneath my bare ass into the toilet.
You got it, P?
Alice asks. A stare is all I can offer back.
You need some help?
Betsy hums as if she's singing along to my embarrassment.
No!
I finally respond.
I think I got it now.
I sit up, pulling the door shut, feeling water drip down from my dress onto my calves. My teeth sink into the heel of my hand until I hear them leave the bathroom. Then the sobbing starts. How much more do you have for me, God? What did I do to deserve all this? I don't know how I'm getting home. I should have thought this through better. Feeling so hot, so ashamed. I don't think it matters what happens now. I need a fire exit. I pull my soggy underwear back up where it belongs and wonder if there are alarms on the back doors. Picking up and then dropping the contents of my purse convinces me preserving my dignity doesn't matter now. The last thing I pick up is the crucifix Julie's friend gave me. It's wear and tear looking out of place in a pristine Hilton bathroom. The Savior attached still seems serene. It's timeless and simple, like the ones I'd see on rosaries at the 5 and dime when I was a kid. This is the only friendly thing I think I have in my life right now. It's like when Julie walked into my shop for the first time. Her first impulse was to help, like sun after a good afternoon summer thunderstorm. A small smile appears long enough to stop the tears. Almost no words pass between Julie and me when she picks me up. She barely let me finish my tearful phone call to tell me she was on her way. We go about a mile before I realize we're not heading towards my house. A sober thought finally arrives. Julie might have been otherwise occupied when I called her at midnight on Lundy Gross. Wherever she is taking me, I'm not ready to handle any more truckers. I need home and a bed, my own. Empty bed.
Julie, I'm sorry, but home is back that way.
I know, I'm not taking you home. You look like you could use some taking care of.
The words are coarse. They're the words I wanted when I walked in from the wind earlier today. But who is saying them is suspect. I'm getting pictures of some seance or a feminist pep rally.
We'll tone down our weird wild women stuff. I want to make sure you're okay.
In this damn whiskey drunk, I can't tell if I'm being talked out of my head or she knows me better than I know myself at the moment. The hippie smell still hangs in the air, making me sleepy and making my headache lessen. Jackie is standing in her cluttered hallway with a cup of coffee in one hand and a bottle of wine in the other.
Do you want to crawl out or dive in deeper?
A deep belly laugh begins before I know what's happening. Having asked myself that question many a night, I collapse to the floor still laughing. I'd be asking that question to myself alone in my house had I gone home. Continuing the hysterical laugh, I point to the coffee. She tosses a sweatsuit my way and motions to the bathroom, handing me the coffee on the way. The bathroom is spotless. She doesn't have kids, so I don't need to feel bad about how dirty our bathrooms are at home. Again, I struggle with this zipper on my dress. Without knowing how long I've been doing this, Jackie walks in, unzips my dress, and refills my cup. It all happens before I have a chance to protest. With how fast she came in and out, it's hard to think she was trying to see me naked. The lacy bra I bought last week for no one to see comes off too. Naked, except for my panties, I look in the large mirror. I see something that looks like it crawled out of a crawfish pond. My legs wither. Words try to come out of me trying to explain what happened to me to make me like this. But the whiskey still rules my tongue, and only nonsense makes it out of my mouth. So focused on my lamenting, I never noticed the hands cleaning my face and pulling the bobby pins from my hair. They pull the sweatpants over my legs and the top over my head without ever touching my body. There is no choice but to accept their help. Strangely unconcerned by the fact these two women, whom I was convinced was some sorcière, are brushing out the hairspray and refilling my cup. This time, a tablespoon of white paste is stirred furiously into it. They did all of that so they could drug me?
Coconut oil.
She explains.
It'll help with the hangover. I need some Bodine. Fresh out,
She says with a pleasant smile.
Now, you stay here as long as you like. We'll be in the living room chatting when you feel like joining us.
Dreading how she's tainted my community, I taste the coffee. It doesn't have sugar, but it doesn't seem like it needs it. Another sip confirms it's not terrible. I never tasted poison except in the form of my family's hostility. And it definitely doesn't taste like this. This tastes like someone caring for once. Beginning to feel human again, I notice more of the bathroom, other than how clean it is. There is a picture of a man in the little hutch over the toilet. It looks like it's from the 80s. He's shirtless, and he should be. They don't make men like that anymore, I don't think. Tan, muscles, hair in the right places. Jackie has tasted more than good coffee. Barely outside of the opening of the living room, I listen to their soothing voices.
There is a freedom in the way they talk I don't understand. They say things which make no sense to me, but the other always gets it. They don't seem to even misunderstand each other. While I enter as silently as my drunkenness will allow, I'll watch their movements. They seem choreographed and synchronized. More things they seem to have agreed on and practiced for years. They sit as they did before, sprawled on their covered couches. It's still cluttered, but having seen the bathroom, I know now it's not dirty. Their goblets of wine swirl as they gesture and laugh.
Feeling better yet?
Julie asks.
Yes, much, thank you. I'm so sorry about the bathroom that y'all came in and saw.
Your breasts? My downward face and eyes cruise up to meet their eyes. The honesty in them diffuses the crass talk.
Yeah, happens to the best of us.
Sitting in the same chair I did the first time I came here, I relax all the way into it. It's a nice chair.
Rough night?
Jackie asks. I mumble, staring into my cup. A replay of Hidalgo and a stall, and the looks of those two old crows is replaying there.
Where was John?
Julie asks from the other side.
Working?
I can feel their eyes on me as I stare into my coffee, catching them communicating to each other with a look. I try to explain.
His job is unpredictable. He never knows if he's fixing to go on the road to go check on one of his tools at any moment.
And what's that like for you? What kind of question is that? What is it like? It's like a lie, but I can't tell them that.
It is what it is.
And what is it? Jackie continues.
Who's the man in the picture in the bathroom?
I hope she'll be nice enough not to make me answer the last question.
Thomas? He's my ex-husband. Oh, I'm sorry.
I say, wondering immediately why I said that. She must not be in a bad place if she keeps a picture of him in her bathroom for everyone to see.
I'm not. It was something amazing, and then it wasn't. He wanted kids. I couldn't have them. Oh, I'm really sorry.
And I mean it this time.
Are you always this sorry for things that aren't your fault, B?
What is it with all these questions? Who talks like this? Apologizing is good for everything. When things are uncomfortable for someone, I apologize. If they understand me, I apologize. If I tell them the truth, my truth, I apologize. Because it's always easier when it's my fault.
I guess I think about what it must be like to not be able to bear children.
A mixed bag like most things.
It sucks to not have that big piece of womanhood. A piece that seems to define us more often than not. But on the other side of it, I got to have pieces of me, experiences of me being a woman I probably would not have had otherwise, you know? What are some of the things you always wanted to do, because you were too busy being a mom? Oh, I don't know. Oh, come on, think about it. When did you have your first baby? How old were you? 22. Okay, well, think back to your 22-year-old self. When she looked into the future, what did she see? Just babies, and maybe owning a store, which I have now. That's it?
Julie asks, surprised. Now I'm getting irritated. This is what I was afraid of. They think I'm not liberated enough or something.
She would have wanted to be running her own crew, I bet.
Julie laughs in her betrayal. At first I'm angry because she dragged me into this free woman crap again. When my face stops flushing, I entertain the thought of my own crew. I get a little excited.
Let's stop.
Jackie interrupts, watching my face closely.
B's night has been hard enough. You don't need to be sorry for anything said or not said tonight. And I've made my peace with what was. Now, you look like you're feeling better. We could either bring you home or you could stay here.
I stand to my coffee cup. A new picture swirls into focus. A house empty, with me crying out my loneliness, floats there. I take a sip and look again. The image remains. If I sit here long enough between saying I want to go home and not saying anything, I can stretch out this moment where I don't have to choose.
Or there's a compromise. We could talk until you feel like going home. And you can pick what we'll talk about.
Jackie smiles. Julie does too.
I don't want to impose. And I gotta get to the parade early tomorrow. I have to be on the float by 7. We can get you there.
Julie offered. Their couch must have been more comfortable than my bed. I can't even remember closing my eyes. And then Jackie was shaking me gently to tell me it was 5. Julie hasn't complained about a single thing this morning. Not waking up at 5 after staying up until 1. Not driving me home for clothes and a shower. Not during the 45 minutes it took to pick something to wear under my costume. In fact, she even cheerfully gave me options and options. Not even now, as she walks a half-mile from where she parked, with an armful of bagged beads that aren't even hers, does she do anything but smile.
Bien merci, Julie. I can't thank you enough. My pleasure, B.
Julie replies with genuineness. I climb onto the float quickly before Betsy and Alice see. But it's too late.
Beatrice Moulton? Good morning. I didn't know if you would make it, seeing how much fun you were having last night. Good morning, Alice. Yeah, it was rough there in the beginning, but I'm here and I'm ready to throw. Who's your friend?
Alice's face has all the practiced pleasantness of a Southern woman who doesn't like what she sees and wouldn't dare show it. I hope my version of that face isn't this obvious.
Alice, this is Julie Denberg. Julie is my partner in my store. You never told me you had a partner.
Alice adds extra surprise to the statement to make sure I feel framed. I look up at Julie, feeling horrible. It's true, I don't talk about her much. Look at how much she's done for me since last night, or even since the moment she walked in my life. There are a million things to choose from which could explain this away or change the subject. Trying to decide on which one could show Julie it was not intentional, though it was, and get Alice to focus on something else, I'm cut off.
Oh, B, you don't need to talk about me,
Julie says back, matching Alice's contrived pleasantness.
She does it so much, it's easy to be silent partner. It's a pleasure to meet you. Denberg, you said, Beatrice? Where you from, Julie? Here,
Julie says with continued and unwavering pleasantness.
Born and raised in Lafayette. Oh, well, it's nice to meet you. Yes, Julie is homegrown and a really hard worker.
I finally say, I'm not sure if that helped anything.
Okay.
Alice says as if she's had enough of the conversation.
B, I need to let you go. I bet there's a lot of things you'll need to do to get going. Jackie and I will be at the corner of Oakview Boulevard and Johnston, right in front of Fatima Church. We'll be looking for you. That's a popular spot. You might have a hard time finding a place to stand,
Alice critiques.
Oh, I know. But that's been our spot since my mama was a little girl. And I'm sure at least 2 of my 7 cousins are drinking there already, wondering why I didn't join them. So I better get going, too.
She leans in and gives me a kiss on the cheek.
Have fun, B. We'll be looking for you.
The crowds are big this year. They seem to get bigger every year. I wonder if people are coming here instead of New Orleans. The thought makes me throw a little less often. But anyone with a raging Cajun shirt gets at least 2 beads. And of course, the kids and the babies get some throws. Around Jefferson, I take a big sip of my beer and take stock of how much I've thrown. I'm doing okay. I look up in time to see some of my cousins screaming my name. From the looks of it, they've been partying all night. I remember when it was Verlaine's going away party. Without even opening a bag of beads, I toss it to them, and they drunkenly fight over them. I'm glad I didn't go. We're getting close to Kathy's spot, looking for hips bigger than mine and her dirty blonde hair that always needs some touching up. I catch sight of T. Gusty. Somehow, Kathy managed to wrangle her son into coming down to the parade with her. And down in my gut, I feel the guilt only a mother can feel at having not gone home to my son last night. But it doesn't matter. He seems happier when I'm not around. My thoughts return to having fun on this float.
Hey, T-Boy! T-Gusty!
I yell. He looks up as I catch him in the chest with the cup. He's too surprised and too clumsy, and someone grabs it away from him. Surveying the crowd around him, I find Kathy a few feet away. Opening a bag of candy to the ground, I get all the little black kids distracted and pitch her the big beads I ordered especially for her. Only in this moment, at this time of year, do I get this smile from her. Despite all of her damnation, she likes how I connect her to the good Mardi Gras. Her hands immediately go back up, waiting for the next throw. She doesn't look at me again. I take another big sip of beer. We're pulling through USL, and I start looking for Addison. Finally, I hear her voice. The only good beads I have left are the ones I bought for myself. I pitch those down to her and follow it up with my last moon pie. She too smiles back up at me like I'm the mama she still wants. Pulling past her, I feel naked with only trash adornment left around my neck. Sipping my beer, I remember Julie. I didn't keep any good beads for her. Sifting through the bags at my feet, none magically manifest themselves. We're getting close to Julie. The float stops a few lights away from Fatima because Alice wants to offload to some of the clients at her husband's law firm. While she's distracted, I take the chance to steal a box of moon pies from Alice's stash. Passing the ground patty, we arrive in front of Julie Street. Quickly spotting her, I begin unloading everything I got, quantity and quality alike. Alice, too, unloads double, triple the haul I'm dropping onto them. Julie and what looks like her nephews and nieces love it. As I wave them a crayon, I spot Jackie. I wave harder. When we're finally out of sight, I chug the rest of my beer and look at Alice.
She seems nice.
She yells over the sound of Wayne Toops singing, "Please explain." I ignore her and keep waving. Chapter 28.
That's what Tiffany told me,
Kathy says with a little too much relish. The smile she's given me at the parade is gone, replaced by a smug one. Instead of reacting to rumors circulating about my William being gay, I flip bacon.
"You're not gonna say anything?"
She asks. If I say something, she gets to tell me what a bad mother I am. If I say nothing, I'm complacent in my son fooling around with other boys. There's no room for me to even be haunt about who my son is becoming. A sister is supposed to support me through the tough times instead of rubbing my nose in them.
"What should I say, Kathy? You know my son's a little weird, but I would consider my source if I were you." "You calling your niece my daughter a lie?" "No, Kathy. I'm calling my niece a drama queen in college. I don't know how." "Stop right there, B. I don't think you've come down off that float yet. My daughter is telling it like it is. If anything, she's trying to protect your son and your family's reputation." "Oh, both of you are so selfless." "You see, this is your problem. You blame everybody else for your problems. I see more and more why no one wants to be around you." "Where's your husband, Kathy?" "Here you go again. You're gonna try and turn your problems with your kids, your husband, back on me. You need to look in the mirror, Beatrice Moulton. That's the only person you need to be talking to like that."
Let's say bat. Why y'all ain't done cooking yet? Y'all stop all that nonsense and finish what you are cooking. I don't want to be driving home in the middle of the night. Daddy says with a cry.
"We ain't fighting, Daddy. Just discussing,"
Kathy says, kissing him on the cheek, that little Judas. Y'all can visit while we eat or we drink coffee. He's in a mood. He's always like this when he comes back from visiting Mama's grave. She was always so mean to him. Going there must hurt.
I got to chop the bacon to put in the green beans. You have to come kiss me.
I tell him. He does gruffly.
How was Mama?
He opens the lid to the chicken fricassee and stirs. You need more water. It's gonna burn that. He grumbles over my shoulder. He always makes his fricassee too thin, and he always tells me how he likes mine.
I got it, Daddy. Go pour you some coffee and sit down. You been to Mass yet?
I will. What y'all was talking about when I walked in?
Oh, nothing, Daddy. Sister stuff.
I offer, hoping to cut Kathy off.
Yeah?
She starts. Here it comes.
We were talking about some problems Will's been having.
What kind of problems?
Oh, it's nothing big, Daddy. Let's drop it.
B, test to her. You don't speak to your daddy like that. I could go right back home if you're gonna be so hateful. You've been breaking that 5th commandment. Covering the green beans to steam with the bacon. I look up to see Addie wearing the same pleased face as my sister. I can tell it's my roasting she relishes. Pulling the bread from the counter, I break it up. It wasn't in my shopping cart. Who bought this? If I can't keep track of my own kitchen, what else am I missing? Everyone needs to slow down. All these people working each other to tell me I'm doing everything wrong. Need to sit down and eat. Kathy calls Will to the table.
Kathy, how was Blaine's party?
It was a bro party for sure. They damn near tore the place down.
Daddy, did you go?
Me? No, that's too late to be driving around. I can't see it not no more.
I would have drove you, Daddy.
Kathy says eagerly.
Everyone wanted to see you.
They know where I live.
You should have seen Blaine, though. He was so drunk, he couldn't figure out if he'd cry or laugh.
The mood was lightening a little. They were not as concerned with what I did or did not do for them. The food and the conversation fixes everything like usual, but also like usual, this is not the case for Will. He mopes and picks at his food. His little mouth used to flap away when he'd come home, telling me about his day, the good parts and the bad. His little world is filling up with all the false promises of MTV and video games. Now, he has a friend he won't talk about. No one here can appreciate how hard I've tried to protect him. They don't understand what's happening. I can't let Will slip away.
Daddy, did I tell you, Will has a little friend now?
No, he told me that's good.
When did he tell you?
When we went fishing.
What's he like?
Kathy asks to spite me. If she wasn't my sister, I swear she is smiling at the thought of my boy turning out like John. She has never liked how Daddy spent more time with Will than her little angel Tia Gusty. It's time to rein Will in. When I tell him I don't like how he's been acting and who he's been with, I make sure they all see it so they know this family is not falling apart because of me. But Daddy cuts me off taking sides. Ma Toby, it's not like that's his boyfriend. This is the conspiracy Will was cooking up. He's trying to turn his paw against me. Whatever he told my daddy, Will likely left out how this boy is from a godless part of the country. Daddy doesn't know what's happening.
Daddy, this is not like when we were growing up. We either knew everyone in town or we were related to them nowadays.
He's gonna be able to go to war in 2 years, B. You got all these opinions about things you know nothing about and think. We want to hear what you think. If someone would open a window, letting the wind rush through so I could scream into it, maybe I could get their attention. I think about sitting on Jackie's bathroom floor. At least they would tell me how I'm a good mother. The scene plays out so vividly in my head, similar to the ones from when I was a little girl, that I almost forget I'm in my kitchen with my unhappy children, my bulldog of a sister, and my grumpy father. Looking up, everyone stares at their fricassee except for Daddy. He chugs his coffee and glares at me. I still need to make this right. Make this family right. They need to see how what I do is made out of love.
How was your visit to the doctor, Daddy?
Fine, he says gruffly.
What'd he say?
Kathy says mid-bite. He said I'm healthy.
Did he run any tests?
I continue. Yeah, he ran tests.
Well, what did those say?
Kathy continues. For all her faults, Kathy at least worries about Daddy as much as I do. That's for the doctor to know.
But Daddy, you!
Damn it, you too! He may be angry because we're getting in his business now, but at least he knows why. He understands this fretting is love. He understood it for over 50 years from my mama. All the other men in my life lost themselves in drink, at least for a little while. But I'm not letting my son do it. Will knows that. So I'm floored when he comes home drunk with John, especially after he'd had such a good day fishing with the one good man in his life, his paw. I wasn't going to say anything at first, but he is being turned against me by his father. I'm done playing nice with John. Back in the kitchen, I open the cupboards and start a landslide of pots and pans. Seeing Will wince at the noise, seeing how hungover he is, I pull more down. What the fuck, Beatrice? There's the monster now, his shriveled penis hanging out of his underwear like a caveman. Why the hell you got to make so much goddamn noise?
I thought that's what you do when people are sleeping. At least I'm not drunk while I'm doing it. And at least I'm not getting our underage son drunk while I do it. The worst that can happen when I make noise is that he learns how to cook.
Holy shit, Beatrice! You're going off about bringing our son home safe? Will makes his exit. I really wish he'd stay. He should see this. Well, John asks, you gonna say anything now that Will is gone and you don't have to act like you're in charge?
You're being a bully, John.
And you're being a bitch. Haven't heard that insult before from different people. It doesn't hurt. Except this person doesn't have a whole lot of room to call people names.
Be careful, John.
I say while grabbing my Magnolite pot and heading for my cutting board. You threatening me? His voice is low. I know what he's thinking. My eyes find the window over the sink. Branches shake as the wind blows through them.
No,
says my voice, though not really sounding like my own. His eyes venture down to my hands and lock on to something there. When he looks back up at my face, his fury has turned to fear. The scar on his neck turns purple against the rest of his flushed skin. He continues to look, to watch me, as he backs out of the kitchen. The front door slams, followed by the door of his truck. I'll wait until the screaming from his tires is distant before I look down to see what he saw. I'm holding my grandma's old chef's knife. The white in my knuckles fade back to pink as I drop it on the cutting board. My shaking hands hurt from holding it so hard. John saw something hidden. Something maybe only the wind knew was there. Shaking my head, I call for Will and reorganize pots in the cupboard until he arrives.
Can you crush the bell peppers and celery, mon garçon?
Sure. I can feel his apprehension. Now is an important moment to try and rebuild our love after so many people tried to pull us apart. Grandma's knife in my hand, I slice through celery. I worry I made a cut too deep, sending a split through the core of this family. The knife is supposed to be a tool for love. It was Grandma's tool, then my mama's tool, to share love with our family. Now, I've used it to sever love. Its purpose tainted. It seems useless now. Like the crucifix Jack it gave me, except I have to wonder who in this scenario sits on the crucifix. The piece broken off from the whole and the holy. As the days pass, I feel worse and worse for how I acted with John. I wasn't really going to cut him. It was just the way my hand was positioned. I have to keep telling myself that so I believe it. But it's not enough. Extra rosaries don't help. Daddy is the only one who knows what to do with this, to put all of this back together so it makes sense. Thankfully, he agrees to come to Dino's tonight and try pizza for the first time.
I'm so glad you decided to let me take you out tonight. We haven't done this in so long. I miss my time with my daddy. I get so lonesome. Our family isn't the same. I guess this is how it's gonna be now.
What you talking about, B? He screams over the Dino's den. He's trying not to be annoyed.
Well, I see Addie less and less since she started college. And Will, is going out with his friends he won't talk to me about. And John?
Kids are supposed to grow up, B.
I know, Daddy.
I respond before a big gulp of wine. I don't know how to get to it. I'm not sure what I'm even getting to. How do people have conversations like this? B, why can't you just let things happen? Why you have to try and make it fit the pretty little picture in your head?
Because they're pictures of how we used to be, how we should be.
I'm interrupted by the large T-Rex placed in front of us. Placing a slice on a plate, I hand it to Daddy. He inspects it. What's that? Pizza. Not explanation enough. I continue with,
It's got 6 different meats on it.
he still doesn't take it, and I drop the plate in front of him. Dishing my own slice, I try to finish my thought.
We don't have to love each other. I mean, I love my kids. They seem to love their father. They seem to love each other, but we don't seem to be able to all love each other at the same time.
He pulls off a big piece of Canadian bacon and chews on it for a while. He looks up at me and says, Tu crois que tu es ou supplice tu tracasses, tu pleures métat tu famille, c'est dans à ces moments pourtant ne parté, noble passé.
Daddy, don't speak that much French in public. They'll think we have webbed feet. And I don't see how you think my family gets along.
Be now listen, I'ma talk like I talk. If Dad couldn't beat French out of me at school, then some looks from some people in a restaurant ain't gonna change that. Their parents spoke French too. He exhales, picking off a few pieces of meat and stuffing them in his mouth. You always hear just what you want to hear. I said no one left. Even if y'all are fighting, y'all still together. To complete, y'all still have a chance to fix that. Latte pa la patata.
How, Daddy? How am I supposed to fix them?
His gray eyes level on me, and he scratches at his steely stubble. The sound it makes is a whisper, as if what he wants to say won't be able to make it to words, and just his gestures have to tell me. It's not the same anymore. He finally adds, it's like with French. People move on, they figure out their own way. Mix some French with their English, keep some of the past, do something new.
Oh, no. That's the problem, Daddy.
The way he turns his head to look around the restaurant makes it feel like he can't look at me right now. I don't know what I did wrong. It's a problem for us, not them. Your way isn't my way. You work in a store instead of keep house. You go out with your girlfriends instead of family. Now their Cajun gonna look different than your Cajun.
They just work friends.
I say, if that's what this is about, I can set him straight.
They just...
It's good you got friends. They'll be family when the kids leave. His eyes meet mine again, and my face gets hot. I can't tell if it's from anger, sadness, or embarrassment.
It's not the same,
is all I say. I wish I could scream. What does he want me to do? Fix my family or live alone? He scratches the steel wool on his chin again. He pulls another piece of Canadian bacon and chews it slowly. When cars stopped using carburetors, I hated that. They weren't simple no more. Everybody wanted something. Didn't burn so much gas. Engines change so fast, I don't understand them. But they work. They last a long time and they're cheaper. That makes sense to the young mechanics, the ones who have to work on them. That's what matters.
Daddy, you know I don't get engines. That's a man's work.
His face turns to pity. It's better than having him expect to move in 2 different directions at once. Pity is tender. It's better than the anger he had for us when we were little. I wonder if I'll ever be enough to him. His eyes go back to the pizza, and he grabs a whole slice and takes a bite. He smiles. Man, I like that, me. He puts it down and looks at the condiments. He adds a little of each to the pizza and keeps going. He swallows hard. He's getting tired of talking about this. Whatever he's trying to tell me, this is my last shot to understand it. Hurricanes always gonna come. You can try and tie everything down, fix the things the wind breaks, but a tree never worries about that. The top may bend and a few pieces may break. That tree finds a way to do without that limb or grow a new spot. Hurricanes don't bother trees. When that wind starts blowing, plant them roots, my fear. You a chilliver, a green oak. Them roots are long and strong. I shove another piece of pizza in my mouth to keep from shouting. He acts like this is so easy. He gets to say what he wants because he's the paw-paw. He's the big man. I'm over here trying to hold my grip on being a mom. Even being a wife is ending. How he should be able to understand 2 people growing apart in a marriage.
You remember how you were with John when we first met at college? You were so upset I enrolled at USL. You thought it was a waste of money to send a girl to college. But then you were so proud when you met John. At our wedding, you never stopped smiling. You loved that I found a husband and I was settling down to make a family. That doesn't look the same.
I wasn't upset you went to school, Sheriff.
Yes, you were, Daddy. Remember you?
I know what I remember. I remember you being sad. You didn't have no boyfriend. I was upset because you looked so booty. You'd come home and cry. It broke your poor daddy's heart when you got married to John, and you was finally happy your daddy was happy. I was proud you figured that out.
Except, John, it's not like he used to be.
All these used to be's. You not the same either, Cha. You used to go for what you want and not be afraid to try, like you schooled, like you stole, like you married.
Daddy, you don't understand.
I understand enough. I understand you so spoiled, you gotta make problems for yourself. He says before going to the bar to get a whiskey. Since it's getting so late, he probably wants to go home. I pushed this too hard. He comes back as the check arrives.
You know, the waitress could have brought that to you.
She take too long, and you would have been talking the whole time. Chapter 29.
Are you going out?
I ask from the sink, knowing he isn't going anywhere. A mother knows. The excitement isn't there. Just his usual slouch. I'm so happy to see it back. He agrees to watch a movie with me. We settle in, and he's already closing his eyes. In this half-conscious state, he might give me more answers about his life than he normally does. Daddy always says if you get someone drunk, angry, or half dreaming, they'll tell you the truth every time.
Well, who's this boy you've been going out with lately?
Even half asleep, he says little, like he always does. The person who sleeps across the hall from me won't let me in on his life. We've always left things unsaid to protect the sanctity of our home. And the grief over what I'm losing and will continue to lose pushes the tears out. I hide them at first. But this is what's in my heart. Julie and Jackie didn't make me apologize for what I feel. I shouldn't have to do it in my own home with my own son.
Well, I'm so alone.
Why do you say that? He finally asks, finally opening his eyes. I tell him what it's like to struggle keeping this family together. Did Virgin Mary feel this way trying to keep her son alive? But when I look up at my son's warm brown doe eyes, I don't see love and acceptance. Only pity is there. I've made a fool of myself, throwing my sanity at my own son's feet. It could all be worth it if I get to keep someone who needs me in my life. What would Mary do? I'm leaving, Mom. I'm going away to college after next year. It's almost as if I can hear the devil himself laughing at me. Will's cold eyes look at me with almost no recognition. In trying to be a good mom who loves her son unconditionally, I overlooked how he's changed and turned out like everyone else.
Where are you going?
Does it matter? I'm going away, Mom. I can't be this little Cajun boy anymore. This place isn't me. This food isn't me. These people aren't me.
How long were you going to wait to tell me?
I don't know. Looking at him hurts. I get up to look out of the window at something, anything else. All I see is my reflection in the darkened glass. I give him one last chance.
I thought you were different. I thought you cared about me.
This isn't about you.
It isn't? I'm your mother. I'm who brought you into this uncaring world. The one who wiped your ass and fed you. I was your friend when you had none. And now, the minute you make a friend, it's okay for you to leave. Tell me, which part isn't about me?
This isn't normal, Mom.
What? What isn't normal?
It's not normal to spend your whole life down the road from your parents. It isn't normal to look at the rest of the world as strange and amoral and cultureless. It isn't normal to judge how good a person is by the color of their roux and who their cousins are.
You are too young to understand. You're trying to decide who you are by who you don't want to be. You will see how much family matters when you go out in the world and no one loves you like we do.
What he can't see, what I must show him, is that he's chasing a mirage. He's only seeing the rest of the world on MTV. He thinks people will be there for you, take care of you. The world doesn't care about people like us. The British wanted us to swear allegiance to their king and Akidi. But Cajuns only serve God. They told us we could keep our religion and our land at first. Daddy told me the real story, told to him by his great-grandfather, who was told by his father, a survivor of the grand derangement, of how we was cast out of Eden by our caretakers. My great-great-great-grandfather was only 7 when they put him on a boat, never to see his home and much of his family again. Later, here in Louisiana, they say they love us, promote our food and our music all over the world, but then treat us like we're ignorant, barely better than blacks. He can't see yet how only the tie of blood can make sure people will stand by you, love you, and never leave you. Will goes on about how much he hates our way of life right before stabbing me in the heart. Pawpaw told me I should leave. The devil laughs again. The only solid thing I have left beneath me is where my daddy stands. But he's been filling Will's head with another story since the Sunday before Mardi Gras. I get it now, Jesus. I've had it all wrong. I've been fighting a lost battle. I need to accept it. The last 2 people I thought would love me have figured something else out. If he's telling Will this, no telling what else Daddy is saying about me when I'm not there. No more point in lowering myself for their pity.
You're right. You need to find your path. But you don't have to use my father to try and hurt me.
The house will eat me, I'm sure of it. I leave because I don't want to have it take anything else from me tonight. Behind the steering wheel, the tears slow and then stop. Numb is what I want. I want to drink, but I don't want to go to a bar. I go to the next best place. Neither of them ask me why I want to spend the night. They don't ask why I don't talk about Will or my daddy or anyone. They let me talk. They let me be silent. My wine glass never empties. At some point, I fall asleep on their couch. In the morning, Julie takes me to Louisiana Treasures. She handles most of the customers, and I drink wine. At closing, she drives me to Charlie G's. It's strange being this close to home, but not seeing anyone. Jackie meets us at the bar. Her blonde hair is tied up in a neat bun above her gray suit. She still doesn't wear makeup, but she looks much older somehow.
I know, the suit, right?
She catches me staring.
Being an accountant doesn't really fit in with the rest of me. No, it's okay. There are days I look in the mirror and wonder if this is me too.
Moving to a table, the girls talk openly and freely like they always do, not seeming to care who overhears them. At first, I enjoy the company of people who seem to like each other. But then I see the looks coming from other tables.
I'm sorry, B. We're going on and not including you in the conversation. No, y'all go ahead. I want to listen.
I reassure before scanning the room again. They both follow my gaze.
They think we're a bunch of lesbians.
My eyes whip back around to them. Let them, Jackie continues.
It isn't the first time, and it won't be the last. This way, I have the license to act like I damn well please, and they'll just think my weird is normal.
With a confirmation they are not one of the particularly sinful things I thought they were, I am consoled.
Were you worried?
Julie asks.
I can see she's been watching my face with some amusement. Well, I just don't know, you know.
I exhale. Jackie smiles.
What else do you worry about in regards to us?
Their eyes peer at me. Why can't they just let some things lie? I remind myself they're not my family. They act like these questions are supposed to make me feel better instead of put me on edge.
I worry when y'all talk like you don't believe in God.
They look at each other and giggle again.
You think I grew up that close to Fatima Church and never went in?
Julie asks. I shrug.
Good point,
Jackie says, looking at Julie to accept the challenge.
Jackie and I have kind of come to understand God a little differently than what the church teaches.
Wishing I had put my holy water and rosary back in this purse after the ball, I brace myself to hear about their secret identity as witches.
The way we see God is a lot, well, nicer than what we were taught.
It must be getting so easy for them, getting to pick and choose what they believe.
Y'all must think I'm Pretty pathetic. I'm a cranky housewife worrying over her little magic beads. Quite the contrary.
Julie says through a satisfied smile after a long gulp of wine and a wave to the waiter.
We think you're a pious, loving, amazing daughter, mother, wife, and woman. You take care of your whole family and try to make a home for them. You hold together the language and culture for them, even when they don't recognize you for doing it.
The blood reverses and my face gets hot. They put a name to everything I've ever tried to be. Why can't I get this from my family?
Are you going to hang out at our place tonight?
Jackie asks.
I shouldn't. I need to get back to Will. It's shameful I stayed away again last night. He's probably starving.
Or in heaven. Jackie laughs heartily, watching with astonishment on my face.
B, you have to stop assuming the worst. I said that because of him, not because of you. He's a 16-year-old introvert, from the sounds of it. He's probably loving the solitude. Or he's probably going out with the new friend you mentioned. That's what I'm afraid of. That little macaque sounds like a tragus.
A look passes between them.
What?
I bite.
You didn't go out much as a teenager, did you? Well, shit. What else you gonna tell me? I've been doing wrong all these years.
They smile warmly, but don't offer anything in return. There's no judgment there, despite how much they know about me. I'm ashamed I know so little about them.
Julie, I know about where you grew up, where you went to church, and there you run my business better than I do. What else can I know about you? Oh, B, there's not a whole lot to tell. I went to college at LSU, then worked for a while in New Orleans. Went to grad school in Virginia. Came home when Daddy got sick. I've been here ever since. Virginia? All the way up there with those Yankees?
She laughs.
You make it sound like it was New York. Everything above Marksville is Yankee to me, child.
They both laugh.
What about you, Jackie? My story not too different. My family wasn't as nice as Julie's, though. I stayed a while longer up north at college than she did. Northwestern Chicago. Family wasn't nice. Yeah.
Is all she gives back. Sitting back in my seat, Julie's eyes meet mine in unspoken understanding. Jackie's in pain. She doesn't even want us to console her without having to do anything. Both of these ladies accept themselves and me as we are. The ease with which they talk to me makes me uncomfortable. They know so much about me, but they're not letting me into their lives. Now, this is like my family. How quickly I've gotten used to both their silences and their chatter. My family's problems, something never meant for public consumption, have been too easily divulged. It's messy and it's wrong. Even if this is what adult friends do with one another, it doesn't make it right.
I think I made a mistake. Can y'all take me back to my car? What? Why?
Julie asks, nearly spitting out her wine. Jackie puts a hand on her friend. The way that Julie immediately understands is both lovely and intimidating.
Before we do, can you tell me for sure that you want to go home because you would rather see what's waiting for you there than stay and share our company? That's not fair! That's not my life! And this isn't my life either! I'm not being the kind of mother I should be.
Julie looks at Jackie after I say this. Their faces show pity. I've had enough pity today. I've only needed one thing since the beginning. The love of my family.
What would either of you know? Neither of you are mothers. You sit there, passing condescending looks back and forth. Mothers sacrifice. Put their children first. You would know if y'all had kids and made hard choices like I had to make.
Chapter 30. Hotels are so sad. All of them oil workers coming and going. I'm sure they'd rather be at home with their families, but here we are, away from our families. They're earning for them. I'm here because my family doesn't want me. 3 days through the weekend is the maximum my conscience can take before I go home to cook Will's favorite meal. As much as I want to tell him how hurtful he's been, as much as I want to put him back in the place he belongs, it won't help anything. He's sorry, I know, because he's overly nice, using extra ma'ams and thank yous. He goes to school and I work. There's a message from Julie. She says she's not feeling well, but swears it has nothing to do with the quiet ride back to my car. I know better. I was ugly to them. They were just trying to show me a good time. I should cook them something. Thinking of a menu is interrupted by the bell on the door.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for coming by. Betsy's always told me about your store.
Alice Hoffpierre says too nicely.
You have a lot of cute stuff in here.
Betsy Fontenot doesn't attempt to mask her disgust.
Betsy, I still have the stuff I ordered with you in mind. Now it's on post-Mardi Gras sale.
Grunts Betsy. Letting them look around in peace, I go back behind my counter and pretend to look at my computer. There is less room in my life than usual for their judgments today.
B, come tell me about this.
Alice is looking at the jeweled bodice Julie bought this season.
Oh, that? Well, if you really want to step up your Mardi Gras costume, it's scandalous, huh, B?
Betsy leaves little room in her tone for this to be a question.
Yes, it is. I reply resolutely. Mardi Gras is supposed to have a little scandal, isn't it? Well, you've done your part.
Betsy retorts. I don't know why the old bat is buzzing me with her fangs out.
What do you mean, Betsy? Old Hidalgo sure seemed happy dancing with you.
It was ridiculous of me to think They'd had enough of my humiliation in the ballroom stall that night.
Betsy?
Alice scolds.
What Miss Moulton does is her own business. No, Alice, it's okay. Hidalgo was hitting on me, and I was enjoying it.
The surprise pleasure of the words leaving my mouth is matched by the sight of their jaws dropping.
Every once in a while, it's nice to have a gentleman remind you you're sexy, even when it's not your husband. And that's what this bodice can do for you, too. Are you interested? We can talk about a friends and family discount.
Their polite smiles assure me my confession is going back to Roux. Did old B. Moulton finally lose her mind from all that drinking? It's kind of liberating. Like Jackie says, I'm free to act crazy if I want to.
Oh, I don't think it would fit me,
Alice says.
Probably not,
I respond warmly. They say their goodbyes, starting their gossip before I can even get back to the car. There's no traffic in the stall the rest of the afternoon. Even pouring a glass of wine doesn't help the boredom. I almost regret chasing those two vultures off. The empty time is filled with thoughts of my family, my unkind words to the girls, and my father, who doesn't seem to want to help me anymore. When we ate pizza together, he kept trying to get me to do something that isn't possible. He didn't get it. But today I have all afternoon, time enough to make him get it. Closing shop early, I make the drive to Potch Bridge.
Hey, Daddy!
B, why you come in the middle of the day like that? He huffs from his shed, wiping oil and sweat from his face.
What you doing?
Just try by. What you want, B?
It's slow at work, and I thought I'd check up on you.
I'm fine, Teet Philly. If you need some work, you can come help me.
That's man's work.
Work is work. Tu connais it?
It was something I've been meaning to talk with you about.
Quoi?
Well,
what's wrong with mon petit garçon? The way he says it is similar to the tone he used when I was little and I was his petite filet. Life keeps moving, leaving me behind. But Dad is a man of principle and values. He won't stand by and let my family crumble. He knows how the Cajun ways work. Even if he doesn't want to, he'll fix this. Same way he can bring any motor from his era back to life.
Will's just been different lately.
He's growing up. You got to let go, child. I done told you.
I know, Daddy. But he's still in my house for another year. And I'm not talking a little different, no. I'm talking he's mean. He's cold. He's disrespectful.
Willie?
Yes, Will.
You talk to him? You got a bad habit of calling me before you try to work things out. You done that with your sister, your husband?
No, Daddy, I've tried. You've seen me, but he doesn't want to talk. He sasses and says things to hurt me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I'ma see if I can parley avec Louis. But this is the last time, B. This family is yours. God gave you this family because you need to figure that out your own way. Time gonna come They not gonna listen to their old pawpaw if I keep telling them how to live their lives. Now, go inside and make some coffee. I'll be there in a bit. I gotta fix this motor for my neighbor before it starts raining.
No, Daddy, I'll go. You work. Bien merci.
Now it feels like something got accomplished at work today. But there are other things that need doing. It's hateful what I said to Jackie and Julie. I've already been to confession for it. But now I need their forgiveness. Good thing I know the best tasting penance.
If it tastes half as good as it smells, it'll be better than anything we've eaten in our house in a long time,
Jackie says with a large, joyful grin.
It's just gumbo. It's a feast,
Julie sings, refilling my wine. The praise continues all the way through the meal. Difficult to believe they like it as much as they say they do. They say almost nothing else to me or each other, focusing on their bowls. When the bowls are empty, they lean back in their chairs, glassy-eyed, rubbing their paunches. That's the best compliment a cook can get.
Y'all are so nice to invite me back like y'all have. I was so horrible the last time we were together.
Now they look at each other. They've talked about this, about me. I can tell. Yet it doesn't bother me. It's comforting, in fact.
You were right, B. We don't know about motherhood personally. We're feminist, fornicating heathens. Childless aging women who work and look at art and go to concerts.
Jesus, help me and prevent my face from showing them how much I agree with them.
People here don't see much use for us. Since we don't have kids and we're not married, everything else we do doesn't count. There are days I wish my life was more like yours,
Jackie says through a sad smile. The comfort I felt moments before is eroded. Is she being sarcastic? She said it like a fact. The way her flat eyes stay on me, glassy though they may be, tells me she's waiting for a response.
I don't think you want my life. Your life certainly isn't easy. And still, with what I know about it, we might trade you. Not because I wouldn't have to deal with judgment, or because we wouldn't have as many financial issues. But you're an accountant, and Julie, I work for you.
Julie chimes in.
You didn't call references, so you didn't talk to my last boss from whom I had to refuse sex daily. He's been getting me back by telling employers how I'd stolen from him and never made a deadline. Jackie's ex saddled her with this house and 2 other properties. It's a deal that went sour after the divorce. She split it with him because she knew he was no good at money. Now, he gets all his income from the properties, so he won't sell and he won't buy her half.
Jackie's sad smile begins to hook further downward. Her broken heart bleeds through her face.
I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I'll give you whatever I can afford. I bet I got some money from... We don't want money, B. We don't want anything from you. But that hasn't stopped you from giving me a job or from treating Jackie with respect. You have things in your life that hurt as well. But you never let it go when love is at stake. Somehow, you keep recovering from your hurt. That's why Jackie and I would trade places with you.
We sit, exchanging damaged glances over our empty bowls. Silent cries grow into sobs as we watch each other's pain bubble to the surface like orange grease on the gumbo. In the middle of it all, the weeping turns to giggles. Laughter bursts out in full force. Making my way to each of them in turn, I hug them. The sisters I didn't get to have. Jackie reaches down for the wine bottle.
Well, if wine got us this far, we might as well follow it to the end.
As it turns out, the end must be Kinder, Louisiana. Tailgating at the casino, we finish our 4th bottle of Zinfandel. Inside, I'm met with enough noise and blinking lights to overpower any doubts about this place. The lack of windows disorientates time and direction. Quickly thrown into panic when the girls disappear, I begin looking down aisles of slot machines. They return with cards they say act like chips or quarters. They want to play craps. I stick to the nickel machines. This isn't like the antique one my great-aunt had. There's no arm, just a bunch of buttons. After 3 presses, it says I'm a winner. $700 worth. Surprise hits me so hard, I don't even make a sound. I look up to see if anyone is watching. The girls remain focused on their craps table.
That's a pretty good one, honey. Me? I got $1,500. Won this past Sunday.
A raspy voice says from behind me. A hunched old woman begins to limp down the aisle, pushing her oxygen tank.
You play them like Gladys over there does, and you'll be hitting them once a week.
She hoarsely calls over her shoulder while motioning to a morbidly obese woman spilling out of her electric chair. 2 oxygen tanks hang from the back. My casino mentor moves on before I can thank her for, well, I don't know. 2 more times at this machine and I lose several dollars. Another glance at Gladys, and I decide to hold on to my winnings and join Jackie and Julie. They are already walking toward me.
What's wrong?
I ask, too worried about their faces to tell them about my win.
The box guy kept staring at my tits, even when I asked him to stop.
Julie says with little blood in her face.
Well, they are out there.
I respond a little annoyed. Julie gives me a scornful look.
Julie, I'm sorry, but you wear a shirt open like that and men are going to stare.
More color drains from Julie's face.
I'm going to play some slots.
Me too.
Jackie agrees.
I think I'm done. I got a jackpot.
I share.
Well, it's a big casino.
Jackie retorts flatly as she walks away. I wish I'd driven myself. This money is a big weekend's worth of sales in my store. Feeling high class? I wonder what people with money do in casinos when they don't want to gamble. In Vegas, they go to shows. No shows are happening for several hours. They eat too, but I'm not hungry. There's also those rooftop swimming pools. Didn't the girls say they'd packed me a suit? A full-length mirror in our hotel room shows me something I don't know what to do with. This suit displays more of my body than I'm used to looking at. The way it's cut, though, makes me look nice. The little half-skirt hides my hips. The halter pulls my boobs up, making them and the rest of me at least 10 years younger. Even the red in my suit matches my hair. To my surprise, I look longer, turning this way and that instead of looking away. Somehow my pieces got fitted together. I'd never be caught dead with this somewhere around home, but I'm not home. None of the people surrounding the pool or in the hot tub seem to care about my presence. Dipping my toes in the water, I notice it's been warmed nicely. How long has it been since I swam? The kids were in middle school. I wade in. When my toes can't touch any longer, I begin to float effortlessly, bobbing like an old buoy on my chunky thighs. And I don't care. It's so nice not to care.
I thought that was you, Beatrice Moulton.
A man's voice says from behind me. I turn to find Mr. Hidalgo. His eyes meet my face, but quickly move down to my chest. He must not have seen enough of it at the ball.
Hi, Mr. Hidalgo. I didn't know you liked to come to the casino.
I come all the time since Sue died.
His eyes leave my chest only to survey what floats beneath. No man's eyes have done this in a long time. John never looks at me like this anymore. Writing this off as how men are, another part of me feels guilty for letting him look at me like this. Yet another part wonders why I don't like it, since I never get it. But if I'm honest, like the girls ask me to be, most of me wants his eyes off of all of my pieces.
Well, I'm sure it helps with missing your poor wife.
His eyes meet mine. She's been gone 2 years. His eyes go back to roaming. There's nothing to hide beyond this pool. Getting out would only make things worse.
That's such a short time ago.
It's longer than you would think, B. I've never got that last dance with you. Let's you and me talk. I'll go change into my suit, and I'll get you a drink. What do you like?
Surprise me.
I answer, trying to keep my eyes off the stairs at the opposite end of the pool. He gives me one more look over, and then makes his exit. As soon as the big doors close, I'm out of the pool and heading back to the room. So desperate to get away from those eyes. I take a different way, making sure he can't follow me. I almost get lost. Finally, back inside our room, I crumble to the cold tile of the entryway. Julie and Jackie leave the mirrors where they are reapplying makeup and rush to my side.
He wouldn't stop looking at me.
I rasp as they sit next to me, propping me up between their shoulders. It only serves to make me shiver. Julie hugs me tightly, again never asking a question. When I look up to recognition in her eyes, I realize why she doesn't.
Let's go,
she says. Chapter 31.
Daddy, you need to clean up in here.
I tell him as I pour coffee into his stained and cracked mugs. There is grime in the corners of the kitchen. The linoleum looks more brown than yellow. His old eyes can't see how bad things have gotten in his home. Seems true for my home, too. It's fine, B. Why you coming over here early like that?
Sometimes I just need my daddy, you know.
B, you can't keep running to me when things get hard, chill.
Sure I can.
He takes a long sip of his coffee and his hand shakes a little. That's new. It's cold and it's early, though, and he does look like I've made him in a bad mood. Today gonna be the last time God gave you that family, because you the one supposed to know how to take care of what you have. You have to go figure out a way.
Your way always works.
He eyes the pictures on his walls, his brows pumping up and down, like he wishes he could find words to make me understand. I wish the same thing. I'm the best mechanic in the next 3 parishes. Even I can't fix a car whose parts is out of production. Nothing works forever.
Daddy, I didn't come here this morning to argue with you. I'm not trying to make you grumpy. I just wanted to spend time with you.
Getting up from his old leather recliner, the duct tape straining to keep the ragged pieces connected, he sits next to me on his brown plaid couch. Without looking at me, he wraps his arm around my shoulders and pulls me close. My head on his shoulder, I start to cry. My kids reject me. My husband cheats on me. And last night a man tried to take advantage of me. Here is the only place I feel safe and loved. Whatever he's been cooking up with Will washes away with my tears and a big inhale of his smell. Motor oil and my daddy's musk will always smell like home to me. Oh, B, what am I gonna do with you? Since you was little, you always took it all to heart. It's because your heart is big, big. I always loved that for you. It's time you start using all that heart. Make room for everybody in it, even you. When I look up at him, he is still staring at the wall. I follow his gaze and see him looking at an old picture of me and Kathy when we were little girls. You stay home today, B. I'm gonna go to McDonald's game and drive Will. Stay home and take care of you. If I told myself I need a day just to get my heart full and my head straight, I couldn't do it. Because Daddy told me to, I can stay home, even if it is to clean the house. With the dishes finished, I start on the pots, whistling some Bill Withers. This could be what it's like to stop worrying like Jackie and Julie are able to do. I've made it all the way to the evening without checking on somebody, and my family hasn't fallen apart. The quiet of the house is warm. So warm, in fact, I don't worry about refreshing my dishwater and scrub with the cold second-hand suds. I know it's the permission Daddy gave me to take care of myself. He's never said something like that. Never acknowledged how hard I try. How much work goes into making a family, and the toll that takes on me. My whistle gets loud enough I almost pass the phone ringing in the background. The ID says Lafayette General. It must be some sort of marketing call because I don't know anyone at the hospital. I brace myself for an insurance pitch or something.
Auguste Chenevert has been in an accident. Your information was found on the back of a picture in his truck. You need to come to the hospital.
Those 3 sentences make everything else in the course of a day or a lifetime mean nothing. I'd give up all the other spoken sentences in my life to have those 3 unsaid. To be a loving, happy, respectful daughter was easy. Just keep my mouth shut. I can do that. My hurt feelings, all the times I talked back, the unkind things, I'd keep them down deep, laugh them away, never speak of them again. The world with these 3 sentences don't exist is easy to imagine, because it's only a few seconds in the past.
Ma'am?
The voice that said the 3 sentences asks. Her voice is horribly severe and hoarse, likely having been on the butt end of a cigarette for too many years. I hate this voice.
Ma'am?
When I try to tell her his medical history, it's interrupted by an image of my spry young daddy, his legs kicking from underneath a car. Again, I tried to speak, to say I will be there shortly, but a picture of what my life might be like without him fishing every weekend cuts off my words. So I try a 3rd time, but manage only a scream. Numb finds me. I don't feel a thing after the phone call until I see him in his bed. It's a crime how they didn't finish washing the blood from his face. There's still glass in his hair, too. I'll be talking to someone in charge before he leaves this place. But now, my daddy needs to feel my love. My hand finds his, but it's so cold. I wash his face. I pick the glass from his hair. I tell him I'm here over and over. When I kiss his forehead and breathe in deep, past the medicine smells, I detect motor oil and musk. All of my energy holds on to that, to the daddy I know is about to wake up. When Will leaves the room, I don't bother trying to stop him. When Kathy calls, I answer with one hand while the other still holds Daddy's.
What was he doing on the Chevrolet Bridge?
She sobs.
I don't know.
I hear my voice answer back flatly.
He didn't want to talk when I called late this morning. What did you say to upset him this afternoon? You couldn't tell he was ill? He's gonna wake up!
I tell her.
He's gonna wake up, God damn it! So you can hush. He's stronger than both of us. Nothing has ever been able to destroy him. Stronger than whatever that doctor with his little degree might have told you. There you go, B. Not taking responsibility for anything. Why'd they call you anyway? They said my info was on a picture he gave me in his truck. I didn't know he had that.
It's the first time I think about it. We both try to understand the meaning of it from two different directions. He knew something could happen to him, and he had the info ready to go if someone found him in his truck. From her silence on the phone, I imagine she's wondering why there was a picture of me and not her.
I'll be there in half an hour to take care of him, she says, sounding defeated.
I don't have it in me to take pleasure in this. No matter what happens after today, Kathy will always think it's my fault. She'll always think I've had it easier than her, despite always being the screw-up in her eyes. Looking at our father in the bed, I can finally say her opinion doesn't matter anymore. Only his does. And I've treated his like he'd always be here. Like Auguste Chenavert was invincible.
How you doing, Daddy? You ready to wake up yet?
At first, it looks like his heart rate is going up when we talk. Now, as I hum some Jolie Blonde, the lines on the paper don't change. The air's motionless with only the whirring of machines and faint murmurs coming from down the hallway. The quiet is almost like my house. His time with me has never been quiet. Should never be quiet.
Come on, Daddy. Over, I tell you.
Never has my father been in a room with me and not responded. He always has something to say. Oh, he'd pretend it was me who couldn't quit talking. His words, his life, all seemed untouchable. Nothing ever tested Auguste Chenavert's will and won. But now he can't wake up. It leaves me wondering if this silence is his will too. What was he doing on that interstate at night? He hates driving past sunset. He always said he couldn't see good after dark. So, was this on purpose? No, Beatrice, that's a sin. Daddy would never steal. Daddy never did nothing for no reason. A long beep is the only noise I get to tell me it's time to tell my father goodbye. Dies with his hand in mine. My hands smoothing his hair. He wasn't invincible. It was all in my head. The world he made for us wrapped in strength and love. Explained to us in both English and French. Said on the backs of rosaries and novenas and served up with hot rice is gone with him. I'm alone just like I always felt, but this time for real. I never thought I'd have to worry about how to make my way in the world without him. When the kids come back in the room, I tell them their papa was gone. The looks on their faces reflect what I feel in my soul. For the first time in a long time, we feel like a family. Chapter 32. Between metal and wood, he wanted wood. He told me he wanted to be buried in the pine box he made 10 years ago, still leaning in his shed. But that's ridiculous. I tried to compromise, get him a proper wood coffin, but Kathy The oldie noni insists on metal. It's easier to let her be bossy. His headstone is easy too. His name is already next to Mama's. All he needs is a death date. One less thing to do. In the back of my head is a picture of Daddy driving on that bridge and then falling. Wondering what he was doing there seems more important, or at least easier than this. Days pass like years until the day of the funeral. My lips are chapped from kissing cheeks and lips, and from talking since 8 this morning. My voice is hoarse from the high-pitched hellos to see people who don't have the time to come by for any other reason than a funeral. Smiling, being strong, letting loose only enough tears to ensure people know I care. Without letting out to scream is what's hardest. I want to scream at sometimes cousins, at my sister, who has every reason to be happy but likes making me miserable. At my ungrateful children and my cheating husband. Most of all, I want to scream at Daddy. I'd scream I love him. I'd scream, don't leave me. I'd scream, you left me a giant mess to fix and nothing to fix it with. Daddy's young priest begins the rosary in French. My hand in my purse pushes past Jackie's lonely crucifix to find his rosary. Squeezing it tight, I feel him more. The words aren't important today. Maybe they never were. What I need is the rhythm, familiar and predictable. It's the sound of Daddy in the morning while it's still dark in the house and everything is just beginning. The clacking of beads, the tinkling of chains, all wind chimes signaling a change in the spirit. This brings him back in the room, making me smile. What it also brings back is the question, why was he on that road at night? When we spoke earlier in the day, he didn't say anything about the trip. Though he seemed a little hurried to get me out of the house, it was as if a stroke, like the doctor said. Did Daddy know he was sick? Nobody is supposed to know when a stroke is coming. But this is Auguste Chenevert we're talking about. Why didn't I know? A daughter is supposed to know her father, unless there was something else preventing me from knowing. Could he have been getting senile? I hear people with Alzheimer's get irritable, and he sure has been grumpy lately. He'd always fuss at us for getting in his business when we asked about his health. I should have pushed. I always assumed Auguste Chenevert had everything well at hand. But I was right to worry about his health. How many other times have I known what's right and backed down? There's one thing for sure. Daddy's way was not invincible or immortal. Thinking all this makes a buffer between me and the funeral. I don't remember the rosary. Kissing his face as they close the casket is a blur. The service is all but a blank. Aside from Will getting sick, the graveside service didn't really make it to my memory either. What is memorable is I don't have to take care of Will, because John seems to have an interest in him for once in his life. He even drives Will home from the funeral, even if he just sulks in a corner at the funeral. Nobody wants to talk to him anyway. Funny how God works. Daddy and me tried to get my family to act right for years. Now that we don't try, they're being decent, except for Addie. She's sulking next to her daddy, apparently thinking the rules of how to be a good woman don't apply to her. On the day my own daddy is buried, I don't have to be nice. Besides, she still has her father, sorry though he may be.
Addie, go talk to your family. You haven't seen most of them in years. I haven't seen them in years because I've been in school and most of them have been in trouble.
She sasses right here at her grandfather's funeral reception. I'm not taking this today.
Why you gotta talk like that today? Your pawpaw would be ashamed of you, Mouton.
She slinks away a little wiser about how to act. It feels like progress. Time was never my friend. Heartbreak took so much of it, and my happiness in the good times made it move too fast. The good moments slipped through my fingers faster than I could enjoy them. Time is only good at disappearing or standing still. Today, in Julie's car, time sneaks back up on me as we ride to her house. I'm too embarrassed to ask her how I got here. For once, I wish she would refrain from being so respectful and give me some hints about what the hell happened. Sipping tea in their living room, I feel the puffiness in my eyes. A brain too oversized for my skull and the slack in my shoulders, all telltale signs I've been crying again.
Better?
Inquires Julie from her spot on the couch opposite me.
I think so.
She smiles, taking a sip of her own tea before giving a worried glance to Jackie.
Has that been happening a lot?
A sad laugh leaves my lips.
Hard to say. You need a break, B. Take some time off work. Go to church. Do whatever it is that will help you get through this. Thank you, Jackie. But life has to go on.
One of their concerned looks passes between them.
Yo, I'm fine. How about you stay here tonight? Your house is so quiet anyway. I don't think that's a good idea. I need to deal with work and my family.
You don't have to do it alone, B.
Yes, I do. Because they are my responsibilities.
And you don't have to shoulder them and your father's death all by yourself. I exhale. They won't get it. They can't. A Cajun woman makes her family survive. We have been doing it since they deported us from Acadie. When the men farmed or left to go offshore, We created a place for love and rest. And we do all that alone. We feel our love best when it's given away. Jackie and Julie only love each other. A complete little circle. That's not the way I was taught.
Here,
I say to Jackie, handing her the crucifix. She doesn't look at my hand. I lay the crucifix down on the end table. As I reach the door, my attempt to storm out is foiled.
Julie, will you please drive me home?
She's kind enough to let me stew the whole way home. The anger starts to dissipate, and right when I'm about to apologize, I see John's truck in the driveway. Of all the days for him to be home, he picks the one when I want to be alone. I slam Julie's door and find him in his lazy boy. He gets up the minute I walk in as if he was waiting for someone.
Hey, B, why are you home so early? Need the rest of the day off.
Bracing myself, I get ready to hear how spoiled I am. But instead I hear, I head to the kitchen to do what? I don't know. I turn around to see he's followed me.
Hungry? Not really. You want to go down to Joda's Inn for a burger?
If my memory is right, my husband has not asked me on a date for about 5 years now. Despite having told him I'm not hungry, I agree to go get a burger. There's no energy left in me to decipher what plot I'm stepping into. Even if this is revenge for what happened in the kitchen with the knife, I don't have it in me to fight. There's nothing left worth having that he could take from me. Besides, this is what I'm supposed to do. Maybe things will start to make some sense if I give some love away. Especially if it's to the person who's hurt me the most. The inside of his truck looks like it was recently cleaned. It even smells better. We don't talk on our drive. He opens the door for me when we walk in. He orders for both of us. With food in hand, I wait for him to tell me what this is about. He says nothing until he finishes the burger.
Thought you'd like to come to our old stomping grounds. It's very nice, John.
He's giving me no air of danger. We say little else, and I try to follow his lead. He drives home too fast. Is he angry? His attitude is pleasant. I make my way to the bedroom, thinking he'll lord over the couch and the TV. But when I turn around from putting my purse down by the vanity, he's in the doorway. The look on his face is similar to the one he had when he saw the knife in the kitchen. I soften, trying to muster the kind of compassion for him Christ would have. I have to forgive. Quickly his face shifts. It's one that last surfaced when we were young. A strained looseness. Something like tenderness grows across his face. The look is out of place on him, and even more out of place right now.
You know, you're still a pretty woman, Beatrice.
I smile, trying to accept the compliment as proof he might still love me.
I haven't told you that enough.
I face him.
Thanks, John.
He winces at the skepticism in my voice. He seems to falter in the doorway. The scar on his neck, the one his daddy put there, glows purple. He lunges at me, but instead of a fist, I'm met with hard lips on mine. I know it's been so long since I've felt them, but this is wrong. The tenderness in his face isn't in his lips. He pushes me towards the bed and starts to unbutton my shirt. His hands using the same shamelessness Hidalgo's eyes did when I was in the pool. But this is how it's supposed to be. A good wife is supposed to be with her husband. This is what I wanted, the family to get back together. I force myself to kiss back. This is part of the bargain. I can focus on being a good wife and a good mother. Just the wind has to know. He stops. He pulls away to the edge of the bed naked. To my surprise, so am I. Time skipped again. Looking back at him, he looks so small. His shoulders hang loose over his big belly. He's not as sturdy as he was moments ago standing in the door. I pity him. He starts to cry and gets dressed. Dressing myself, I sit on the toilet waiting for God to give me my next step. I uphold my end of the bargain even when he doesn't. Sort of like when I'm at the girl's house, I notice the skin I inhabit. My white thighs disgust me. Except it's not because of the way they look. His hands were on these thighs. Everything down below feels jumbled and contaminated. Right now, he's even more unpredictable than when he was ready to hit me in the kitchen.
Auguste Chenevert has been in an accident. You need to come to the hospital.
Rings through my head. There is no Auguste Chenevert to call to stop him. There is no daddy to go to. My eyes venture up to the closet across the bathroom, to the open bag of daddy's belongings I'd taken home from the hospital. It looks rifled through, and his red hat is missing. Addie did this, I know. She's so ungrateful, taking pieces of my daddy away, with even less of my daddy in this room with me to prop up the walls. It seems the house is caving in on me. I can't breathe. There's no need to look at John. I grab my keys and head for the door. Where you going? He calls after me, sounding more like a little boy than a 46-year-old man. My car goes straight to Jackie and Julie's house. They open the door and usher me inside without a word.
My husband tried to have sex with me.
They raise their eyebrows, await more explanation, but I have none. Not knowing how to explain what happened, I plop down on my chair in the living room. It's a few minutes before I realize I haven't said anything else. My arms wrap around my body. Meeting their eyes, I see the same recognition I saw at the casino. They understand this better than I do. With no more need for details, I can skip to the questions which won't leave my mind alone.
I mean, I'm supposed to like it, right? What woman doesn't want to be wanted by her husband? This is what I wanted. It's been so long since he wanted me. I don't know what to do with it. Were you liking it? Huh? I'm out of practice. Did you want to have sex? That's personal. I mean,
my lack of answer unlocks something. The silence hangs in front of me, replacing air I'm trying to breathe. The room swirls. I run, ending up in their bathroom, beginning to hyperventilate again. The silence. Everything turns black. The floor rushes up to meet me. They have never been mothers. Waking up in their arms, beautiful faces staring down, gently running their fingers through my hair, holding my hand. I am reminded of a mother's love. The look on their faces is what I would have wanted my daddy to see before he died. The coolness in Jackie's blue eyes, and the warmth in Julie's brown ones, alternating some sort of rhythm, soothing places in my soul usually only a rosary can find. They see me as I am, not as they wish I would be. What they see, they love. This is God's love. It makes me think I could love what they see too.
I told y'all I don't need y'all right now. But here I am. What's that say about me? We don't need to go into that right now. Why not? Because this is more important. Y'all seem so sure about what's important.
Julie strokes my hair while Jackie sits quietly.
I wish y'all'd tell me. I wish we could too. We hate to see you go through this. You tell us what you need. We could get you help. We can give you a place to stay. We could just sit here wherever you need. The way forward is in your control. Just sweet Cass, I'm broken. Now I know what my daddy felt like when his mama died.
Their faces remain gentle and patient, just like the winds Julie's blue eyes are cool fall breeze. Jackie's are the warm breath of early summer. They hear me, all of me.
I can see how scary it must have been for him. How lost he was.
Their eyes watch and see.
He always seemed to have everything figured out once he got past being broken.
There is new recognition in their eyes. This time it's not about the pain the men of our lives have brought us. It's an understanding of what it takes to move forward. I feel like I finally see them. Jackie and Julie do things their way because it's the best way they can do with what they were given. Just like my Acadian ancestors did. Just like Daddy did. Just like I must do. John's truck is still in the driveway at home as I arrived the following morning. The resolve I had when I left the girl's house almost washes away instantly. My legs shake when I open my car door. I reach in my purse to feel Daddy's rosary there. I feel 2 crucifixes. I pull them out to see the girls have replaced the crucifix they gave me in my purse. Pushing it back in, making sure it is back next to Daddy's rosary. I go through the back door. My knees shake again when I see I won't make it past the recliner where he is watching TV.
Where do you go? I've been waiting up all night. I went out. Since when do you
go out?
Life keeps moving while you're gone.
I say with perfect confidence, Mary and Jesus, or Jackie and Julie, made me say that. More likely, it's all 4 of them. I'm sorry about yesterday. I think your dad's death is hitting me harder than I thought. I make the coffee, something that will always make the world right. John follows me into the kitchen. I waited up all night for you. I quietly fill the filter with the patience the girls would use. Everything is prepared with the same amount of care Jesus and Mary take with me. As I finish with the water, John is still waiting on me to respond. I sit at the table, in the spot Daddy always sat at. I finally get why he liked this spot so much. You can see the whole house.
You not gonna say something?
John says, standing above me.
What do you want me to say, John?
I was hoping you'd say you'd understand, that you're sad too.
You don't think I'm sad, John?
You're not acting like it?
Because I don't have that luxury. I'm in pain every day knowing I can't go back. That I have to go forward trying to make sense of the world he left us and build something out of it.
Please don't be a martyr right now. His brow and tone lower. Jesus, knowing truly what a martyr is, pulls me to the coffee as John leaves the kitchen. Time threatens to leave me again. Warm coffee to my lips, I turn to look out to my window to gauge the wind outside. Nothing is moving. Something new hits me. The wind is nothing. It doesn't make a sound, doesn't become something noticeable until it hits something. All this time, I called into the wind thinking it was catching my voice. Turns out it was blowing through like a hurricane. Like the people in this house, making the most racket when it hit the green oak rooted deep. I've bent, lost a branch here and there. My roots deep in the soil my daddy made for me. I'll show him how strong this oak is. John is back in his recliner. I stand over him blocking the TV. So now you expect me to talk when you want to? He barks.
Yes, I do. Because I'm not going to do things the old way anymore. Just because that's what we've done. Everything is going to change. If you want to leave me, if you're that unhappy, you can go with my blessing. I'm done being hurt by you. But I'm not leaving because this is my family, and I'm going to do it my way, the right way. I'm not letting what you've done change that.
He stands up out of his recliner and looks down on me. His jaws set, and the purple scar on his neck glows hot.
Do what you got to do, John, and I'll do what I got to do. Just know it's never going to be like it was.
His shoulders slump as he gets his things and leaves. I remain in the center of my house, still feeling as if the wind is whipping around me.